Hello guys, welcome back to another video. So today we're back at the Unreal Engine survival tutorial. Last time we left off, we made the inventory UI, the GUI for the inventory, the menu. See here? If I pick some stuff, see all the stuff that we have in our inventory. See, um, I remember from last time when I had like things disappearing from my inventory is because that I mapped the right click to eat the food. So when I right click outside here, it's gonna eat the food I'm holding here. So now I'm holding, which one it is? The coconut. If you get hungry enough, I right click, it eats it. Last time I didn't realize what's going on. So today we're gonna remove all of that stuff we did before, the right click and left click, and also scrolling to choose item. Instead, we're gonna just go press I, click, it opens a menu here, and choose what you want to do with it. For example, drop or consume or use, something like this. Then later on we're gonna add like a hotbar down here so you can directly choose what you want to. It's like a shortcut for the inventory. Okay, last time when I made the inventory menu, I forgot to comment this. This is basically toggle the inventory menu. Basically, when you press I, it turns on the inventory. If you press I again, it turns it off. Okay, let's start by going to the widget in the browser widget folder and go to sub widgets. Create a new widget called user interface widget and call it drop menu underscore widget. And move the canvas panel here, delete. Add a size box so that you can choose the size. The full screen here, just type in desired, or actually desired on screen so that we know the size exactly what it is. See now the desired on screen is basically 1 pixels. Now let's choose how big the drop menu should be. We do 100 or actually 150 by I don't know 500. Yeah, it's a bit too big. Let me reduce it. 300. You need to make it a bit wider because it's small. Actually 200 like this. Now we create a border, or wait, yes, a border. Let's create a border and give it a black color. You can give it any color you like. I'm just gonna do that. Give it a bit transparency like that, 0.25. Before we add buttons, we need to add a vertical box. This vertical box so that you can add multiple buttons in one place. Now we have buttons here. Each one does something. Once I add all the text inside each button, actually it didn't count how many buttons we need. So let's put the first one as drop. The second one as equipped slash. Okay, equip. This button will be useless for now. This I'm gonna add consume slash use. Reduce the size so that it fits on the button so that it doesn't go out. Let me make it the correct size so to be as equal as the not as much. This one like this. Let me actually make everything at font size 20 so that it becomes equal. These two buttons. What else should we add for the toolbox? I think it's enough. Since it's enough, we don't need these two. I think. Yeah, let's delete those. We only need 3. Since we only need 3, let's make it so that the buttons inside the vertical box to fill and make space for each other, because see, nobody likes buttons this big. We're not on a mobile game. This is actually a PC game. Let's put this as like not the bottom part in the margin, the padding. That's too much. We do this 50. This still looks ugly. Let me revert this back. what we do is basically reduce the size of the height of the thing. Not this much, 200, good enough. Or actually, I have a better idea here. Select all the buttons on the hierarchy. Give the bottom part only like, give it 10 here. We give it a bit of space. Then increase the height to 250. Or actually, yes, let's leave it 200 like this. This is perfect. Now once we made this, let me color this black so that we can actually see the text properly, since the background is white. Now we want so that when we click on the slot, on any slot that has an item inside, to have a drop down pop up here, something like that, and you choose what to do with it. Now let me name these buttons so that it would be easier to understand in the graph part, the blueprint graph. This is, I'm gonna call it drop button. Or actually, let's call it drop item. Drop item. This is gonna be equip. Equip right now it will not have use because we still haven't made the hotbar. Also consume. Use button. I'm gonna call it use button. Use button. Forgot to put this button so that makes sense in the graph. Equip button, like that. Now we have drop item button, equip button, and use button. Now after that, we go to the graph, delete all of these. Every time we make an event for each button on clicked, we click on the variable for the button and go to the events and click on clicked for each one. For each one, we remove from parent. Basically, disable remove the drop menu. So when you click on it, it immediately removes. We need a variable called ID. This is gonna be editable and exposed on spawn. It needs to be an integer. Right now it's 0. So when we create, I made it editable and exposed on spawn so that when you click on the slot, it creates the slot actually is the one that creates the drop menu. And when the button creates this slot creates the drop menu when clicked. It gives it the slot index and ID, something like this. It basically gives the location of the item in the inventory, and then the drop menu can handle all this stuff from there. Okay, we accidentally deleted some event we needed. Not event begin play. It's construct. I forgot that it has a different name in the widget. Event construct. That we do cast to first person character, not the class, I mean the other thing. Cast to first person character. This is the player. We do get player character. Get player character. This basically gets the reference of the player character blueprint. Basically this first person character. This will get the entire thing. And we get not like that. We promote to variable and do player underscore ref. Basically a reference to the player. This is basically a way to access everything from the player. Once it gets its ID from the slot, was it an ID or a index? I think I named it wrong. Hold on. Okay, basically I named the slot widget wrong. It should not be the slot ID. It should be index, because index and ID is a totally different thing. If I save and go to the inventory, it might bug. Okay, never mind. This should be the slot index, the same name. Now we made this. When on drop item, we get the player here, and see what did we name the drop item function. We didn't name it anything because it's directly linked to the Q button. we remove this, you don't need that. And let's modify the drop item so that it drops whatever we want instead of just the ones we select, the button we select. We do T and dot for it shows immediately the custom event. The custom event will be drop item, of course. What should we call it else? What else should we call it? Now instead of the selected slot, we replace this to here. We do index here, slot index. Let's name it slot index to make it more clear. Remove this selected slot. Let me make sure. Get selected item ID. This should not be the thing we do. Instead of using that, because it gets the current item we are selecting, let me delete this. Instead, bring out the inventory and get a reference. Yes, do get here like that, and the index will be the slot index here. Let me fix the rest, and the selected slot will be the slot index instead. Item index. Okay. Now once we made this, we can drop anything from the inventory, but we can't drop directly from pressing Q because we just removed it. We can bring it back actually. We do keyboard Q and then drop item, and give it the slot index. The slot index is where is this? The selected slot. Well, basically we haven't done anything. If you play right now, it basically didn't do anything. See, if I pick something up, I can still drop it. There's no bugs. It's basically the same thing. See, just nothing happened actually. This is a drop. Let me make it more clear. Drop item, custom event. And this is gonna be drop selected item from inventory. These two are totally different things. This is basically just to it's like a way to drop items, not specific to the secret slot, but any item in the inventory. This we assign it to a selected slot. Basically, we didn't do anything. Now here, in the drop item, we do drop item. This basically the same. Drop item, the one that we just modified, and the slot index is gonna be the same as the one inside the drop menu. Now here, equipped, I'm gonna skip that because we haven't made the hotbar yet. We made like a primitive version of it, the one we like grab stuff here. We grab stuff, all the stuff here, and we just scroll and the strings here, the print strings, we can just select which one we want to do. This is gonna be different. I'm gonna make it something else. I'm gonna remove it and replace it with something else in later episodes. Not the next episode, because next episode we're gonna do something else. Now the use button. You see the thing, and where is it? Use item here, input action use item. Let me make a custom event here and call it use item. Let me for now do a sequence here like that and attach the use item here. This is basically so that I'm not removing the use item here so that we can have easy access to all that stuff. Oh wait, okay. Now I have to modify this actually. I really need to modify this and separate everything. The use item will separate this from the actual use item here. The use item is when you right click, the same as in Minecraft. And let's do the same thing as we did in the drop item here. We remove the selected slot and replace it directly here and call it the item index or slot index. I'm gonna call it slot index to make it more what you gonna call it, organized and clear. Now see this get selected item ID. We're just gonna take the inventory again, the same as the drop inventory video get. Doesn't matter, like this, and just attach this to here. This is basically the index of what slot in the inventory you want to change. Now here we have that. Yeah, that's all. Now here in the use item we do this use item, and the item index to remove is the selected slot. So that basically we haven't done anything. I added this sequence so that once we add other actions like I don't know, let me just remove this. This one is eat food, not use item. I forgot, I misnamed it. Consume food. Now it's called consume food. That's a bug because see, item index remove, it didn't update. So I remove this and do it again because it bugged on me. Consume food. This is gonna be the selected item slot index, like this. Now we can use this in the drop menu. I call it drop menu because it's like a drop down thing. Anyway, in the use button, we need to check if the item is a food item or not. Right now, let's drag out the player reference, get the inventory, and do the same thing as before. Get this and drag out the slot index. Now we do get item info. We split it and check if it's food. If it's food, you consume it. Now see the player ref, you copy paste this here so that makes it more clear. We do consume food. The slot index will be the slot index here, the same thing. It's kinda confusing because it has the same name. Now we made the what do you call it, the drop menu when you click on the slot. Now when you click on the slot here, see this slot, we go back to the slot widget and you scroll down while you're selecting the button. Scroll down and events on clicked. You do this. Now we create a widget. The widget is the drop menu. Right now we can't put it anywhere. See here, let me show the inventory here. This one, there is no way to put it. If I make it so that it adds to viewport, it's gonna add it right at the corner here. We want it so that we can place it anywhere we like. Right now, for now, I'm just gonna add something here, a border or something like that. Anywhere that fits, not here. Where can I put it? You know what? I'm delete this thing. Put a canvas panel actually. Canvas panel. Will this work? Nope, doesn't. Actually, let's remove this. We need a way to place the drop menu. I have an idea. We'll create the horizontal box here. We can place it anywhere. Come on. We need to delete this, but it will gonna cause many bugs. I'm gonna place it inside the vertical box. Here. Gonna be the last thing here down, all the way down. And here is the place we're gonna add it. We basically, in the button, inside the vertical box, all the way at the bottom, we create a horizontal box. And now, we forgot, let's make it as variable, and we call it a place for drop menu. It's basically a place where we place our drop menu. Let me show you. Place for drop menu, we drag it out, and add child. The child is gonna be this thing. The slot index, we're gonna drag the slot index of the slot widget. I said slot like a billion times right now. I named everything as slot. It's gonna be a bit confusing. Now see, when I click here, I can't do anything. Once I grab something and do here, it shows here, drop menu. If you drop this, it's thrown. Like that. Press I. We grab all of this stuff right now. We can still drop it like this, same as the last few episodes. But now we can do it directly here. If I do consume use, it will not work. Equip will not work because this is not a food item. If I go here like a coconut and consume, it eats it. An apple, it will not work because I'm not hungry yet. Okay, that's a bug. Oh no. Okay, that's a bug. You see here? That's a problem. Now see here is like a billion bugs here. Let's see what's showing. Why is it bugging? Anyway, I know how to fix it. I'm gonna show you how. Now we create a variable here, a boolean variable. We call this is drop menu open question mark, and move the thing here. We do a branch, add this variable here that we just created. It should be not directly here. We add a not boolean, and directly attach it like this. Do not directly connect it like this because it's gonna cause many problems. Drag this up, we made too much space, and we said as soon as it's not open, we set this to true, so that it no longer can close we can no longer open multiple copies of the drop menu. But the problem is now if I play, let me grab some stuff before we press like this. See, if I continue pressing, it will not work. If I for example drop, this specific slot will not work anymore, no longer work. And see, we got more bugs here. To fix that, the drop menu needs a reference to its parent slot. So to do that, we create a variable inside the drop menu widget and call it parent slot underscore ref. We call it, we change the variable type to slot underscore widget, if it appears at least. Slot underscore widget. This specific one should be an object reference. Compile. Now we have that. Make it editable and expose it on spawn. So now when we go back to the slot widget, why is not showing? Do none, then let's slot widget, drop menu. See, if this slot reference didn't show up, you just set this to none and go back and choose the drop menu again, so that it appears. This is gonna be as self because the self is the actual slot. Each time we close the menu, it resets the slot so that we can open it again. Open the drop menu again. So we get to the parent slot here, right behind here, because it's really important. You do it back here. Set drop menu. Set this drop menu open to be false. Same goes for the rest. Don't put it on just drop item. Put it on everything, even the equip button. Do not put it on the event construct, or else it will break everything. You make space for that. It's overlapping. Now once we made this, once we made the things over here, we compile and save. And now let me take all of these stuff from the ground and see here. If I click here and drop, I can click again. And also if I try to, now we need to stop this from happening, to drop multiple things at once. That's a bug again. This I'm gonna show you later. The errors I'm gonna show you later. Right now I'm gonna show you how to make it stop from opening multiple drop menus at a time, because that's gonna be a problem. You see here in the slot widget, we not only check if the is drop menu open, we also check if there is a slot that's already open or not. So we do this not from here, we do it inside the inventory widget. You see here, it has all the slots here. The same thing here in Eventic. We make space for that. Sequence. Or actually, it's better to make it inside the slot, because why not? We have direct access, no need to get a reference. We make a function here, we call it are there slots open, not opening, open. We make this function a pure function, so that we don't need to make this thing when clicking and dragging out. We do a for each loop. Before for each loop, we get all widgets of class. We choose the slot widget. We do a for each loop here, and now we check if open here. It is drop menu open. Yes. We get that. We return here. Add return node, and directly return that. I'm wondering if this can cause a problem or not, to return midway through a for each loop. Let me try that, because I haven't tested this before. So now we can check if are there other slots open. But before we do that, before we go test that, there's still gonna be a problem. So we need a branch here, not like this. Make a branch and check if the array element is not equal to self. Because if I do this, it will always return true. So now we have made it. That's all. So basically it gets all the slots currently existing. And then it checks for each one. If there is any single slot that's not itself, only other slots, this basically checks if there is other slots that has a menu open, then it returns true. So we go back to the event graph here in the same widget, and drag out this thing we made, and then add an and. This, if the drop menu is not open, open it. Also, at the same time, we do are there slots open. This is the thing we made. Should be also not opened. If your drop menu is turned off, of the specific slot is turned off, and there are no slots open, you can open the drop menu. So basically now when I play, let me grab some items. I press I. Now if I wait, what? Yes, of course. I think I know why. You see here, Every time when you try to consume a food, even though that you have nothing in your inventory, and you click with the game, you get like a errors. To fix that, you drag out from the slot index is valid index, connect this to the inventory over here. We make some space, break it down here, and add a branch here. So that won't annoy you. This basically checks if you have an item in that slot or not. You know what? Let's delete this one. This is causing us a problem. Let's do this directly inside the inventory widget. We compile and see if we're gonna get an error here. Delete that. Now we have this. We go to the inventory widget and do the same thing. We create a new function, call it are there slots open, like this. Now for each loop, and we drag the grid that contains all the slots. Inv grid. Get children. Where's get all children? Here. Get all children and cast to slot. We should cast it to slot. Here, I'm gonna show you right now. Cast to slot widget. This one. Open. Get is it open or not? Make a local variable. Are there any open menus? We set this to true directly like this, and when we complete, return. We do make a return thing, return node, and drag this like this, like that. Are there any open? Are there any open? Drop menu. I'm gonna call it DM. You make it shorter. Now we go back to the slot and add in. Now since we did things out of the slot, we need to create a variable here. Call it inventory underscore ref. It's a reference to the inventory parent widget. And inventory widget object reference. It's instance editable, make the I thing, export to spawn. And now click drag this from the slot and check are there slots open. We forgot something here. See, we don't want this. We want it like a proper function. We go here and make it pure. Go back to the inventory widget. Go back to the function and make this pure. So that when you come back here, it's like that. We remove this. You don't need this at all. So basically, you cannot open any widget, you can't open any drop menu if there are others that are on. I hope this makes sense. Now when we see here, go back to the inventory widget. You go to the event graph. You see when we create the slot widget and assign the slot index, we're also gonna assign the what you gonna call it, inventory. Let me see here. Yes, not get, it's set inventory reference. Then set the reference to self. The self basically this inventory. Now we can access the other slots open. Let me see if this works. Grab all of these stuff. Oh my god, why is it not working? Why is it not working? Let's delete the actually let's create a local variable here. Actually let's delete the local variable. The local variable is gonna cause issues here. Now make a branch here. Hopefully this works this time. Now we create a new local variable, call it number. We make this an integer. Each time if the drop menu is open, we add increment, like that. Now once we finish the incrementing, we make a branch here and check if the number is greater than 0. If greater than 0, you want to drag this here and get rid of the branch directly. So if the number here is greater than 0, it will return true. There are slots open. If it is 0 or less, it will be false, that there are no open drop menus. This should work right now. Okay, now it works finally. See here, I can't open any other slots. But now I want a way to close it. Close this slot. We're gonna create. We forgot a button in the drop menu here. Let me make the size box here to 250. Add a new button. Add a new button here. Copy and paste. Make this close drop menu. Close drop. Close drop menu. The font's big. It's gonna call it close. Then we do on click here. We drag copy paste for this. For every button we need this specific part. We make space, and when it closes, that's all. It doesn't do anything else. See here? When I take some stuff here, when it closes, I press close, it turns it off. See, now let me test something. If I close this directly, it's gone. Good. Close this. If we consume the coconut, we eat it like that. We can't eat it right now because we're full here. We can't use this because it's not neither a tool nor a food item. A tool things we're gonna do it maybe, I don't know, later episodes. Now we finally have finished the part where we can directly interact with individual items. Now we can, if it's like if we have made the hotbar, we can press equipped and we choose what slot to click on. So if we want this slot, for example, the third slot, we click here, and then when we scroll outside this inventory to the third slot, we can equip it. Make sense? Hopefully it does. Now we made everything. Now everything works except the equip button because we have made this hotbar. So basically that's all for the errors. Eat the beef and the apple. Can't eat it. Okay, that's all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you understood. And see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.